Welcome back. 9:47. A little bit of change. Shannon on the phone. How are we doing today, Shannon?
Good morning, TJ. Doing great.
Well, and honestly, it's always great to talk with you, especially whenever it revolves around the trade industries, all the great incentives and programs you guys have at the home builders, but also just to catch up on how everything's looking for the industry. The summer months, we got maybe one or two more left, and then we're back to fall weather. How's everything looking?
The interest rates have come down a little bit, and we're hoping that they're going to come down even more in the next 2 to 4 months. It sounds like the feds are going to reduce them, and that's going to be a good thing for home buyers. And, interesting enough, there are great programs out there right now, even with the interest rates at anywhere from, for a VA, around 5.2 to 6.5, 6.7% on rates on a new home. There are builders that have buy down programs where you can buy down a couple of points of interest rates. There are finance companies and mortgage companies, part of the HBR, that have some great incentives and programs. So there are options for people still out there.
Well, and that's really good to know, too, because I think right now so many people are nervous about, because I feel like a lot of people want to find that next home. But when they put it on the market, they're like, man, our house is going to be gone in 5 days. And then we got to find a place to move. And are we going to qualify? What's that interest rate looking like? And that could be a real big decision maker for so many families.
It is. You're absolutely right. But the other thing that's trending right now is it's starting to become more of a buyer's market again, and it's taking a little bit longer for homes to sell. So that's a positive negative, right? Mm-hmm. We don't want homes sitting on the markets too long, but to give those homeowners, that are in that existing home a little bit more time to get it all figured out when they start to sell their home has been a positive right now. So they're not selling in 3 days anymore. It's more like, 2 to 4 weeks in some areas. So there's some options out there for people, and remodeling still is on the rise. And, that ties right into workforce development. Our remodelers are so busy and backed up, and we had some pretty bad storms in the area this year, and that's pushed the envelope. And I just, again, want to remind consumers, when you want to get work done on your home, whether you call the HBR for a reference or you're doing it on your own, you're reaching out to people on your own, you've got to remember to be patient. It's not like it used to be where you could call and get somebody there in 5 days. You're gonna wait a little bit. They're backed up and they're doing the best they can to get everybody's work done as quickly as possible. But that's why we need more people in the trades. There's just not enough people to get the work done these days.
Well, and honestly, that's what surprised me is because you're right. Number one, people are pretty impatient lately. And, and I understand we all have that thing that's just pressing and we got to get it done. But you're right. I mean, these folks are people and they aren't machines and robots. They can only do so much in a day. But, one thing, though, I hope parents are having conversations with their sons and daughters about this, saying, hey, look how long it took for this project to be done. Why aren't you looking into this? They need help.
Well, and it's, that movement that we started talking about, you and I, on this program about 3 years ago, CJ, that movement that pendulum has started to swing. Parents are taking note that, maybe college isn't the best thing for my kiddo. And maybe I don't want to go $100,000 in debt, or my kids go $100,000 in debt. So we are seeing an uptick in people showing interest in the trades, but it's still not enough. We need more. And there are things being done and looked at the federal level. We're also working on some state initiatives to continue to promote and push trades and offer enticements and incentives to people to go into those. Because, again, the median age in the state of Illinois in the trades industry is 56 right now.
Wow.
Do the math on that.
Wow.
Where we could lose half of our workforce in the next 4 to 6 years. And where's that going to leave us? We're waiting now 2 months for a project. You'll be waiting a year for a project or more.
Well, you're right. And honestly, it's one of those things where I just hope more and more families start to have that conversation because, you would make Dave Ramsey very happy if you didn't take $100,000 out to go to college. I can tell you that.
Exactly. Well, and there's so many options.
Yeah.
There's options with tech schools. There's options positions with the unions where you can come out of high school, go directly into one of the unions out there and go into their apprentice program and work, get paid while you're being trained, right? Yeah. So the carpenters union, you go to work for them and then they put you through the apprentice program while you're working for somebody else. So it's not like you have to go to school full time and not have a job to have money coming in to pay your bills.
1,000%.
And the benefits are unbelievable with all of our unions. Mm-hmm. And then, we've got the non-union company option also. They're paying a decent wage out there. It's not like it used to be where you'd go work for a builder or a contractor and you're going to make, $12 an hour. That's not the case anymore. It's hard work. Don't get me wrong. You've got to, it's like any job that's worth having. And I'm sure you can attest to this, even in your job today, CJ. Any job worth having, you're going to have to pay your dues, work really hard when you first start out and learn the business and learn the industry. And then the time comes where you don't have to kill yourself as bad. Right. But when you start out, you got to put in the effort and be willing to show up to the job.
Well, you're 100% right. It's just like anything. And what I think so exciting about this career path too, is that once you get through that hard part, the literal, windshield is yours. I mean, anything you can see, you can touch. And especially with some of the different certificates and different things that you develop and earn along the way, those carry a long way to find, it could be maybe not the first job is the one you stick with, but because of all the things that you've learned, you can find something that makes you a ton of money and makes your family happy.
And be very satisfying.
Right.
To drive down the street and go, I built that, or I fixed that. I did the plumbing in that building. I put in a handicapped shower for a senior person that couldn't use their shower anymore. There's some real satisfaction in the trades industry. And if you look at what, for example, SWIC has done, SWIC built that brand new manufacturing facility to teach manufacturing, cutting, dyeing, all of that at the SWIC campus in Belleville. They're now in the process of building a new trade center. Wow. And so those are good indicators that things are starting to turn back around. And there's programs like the SWIC programs out there. There's programs through the high schools. There's almost any high school in our area, whether they feed into the Collinsville vocational program or they have their own program within their high school, or the Cave in Belleville. Several schools feed into that. And both of those campuses are under expansions right now. Collinsville has got a huge building. They're building across the street from the main campus. And Belleville, the Cave, added another building just for aeronautics this year.
Oh, wow.
So, I think Collinsville up to having 27 different career opportunities through their school, through the vocational program. And Belleville's right up there, in the 20s also. So there are options for students today. You don't have to go the college route. The college route is for somebody. We're not anti-college, but it's not for everybody.
Well, and too, right now, especially in Alton and just a couple of communities, around us, honestly, the entire Riverbend coverage area, there's so many conversations, Shannon, about not having something to do for kids. And this is where I like this twofold approach, because it's no different than a sport, because it's a journey that you have tangible objectives that you can hold on to. You can see those tasks, those goals in high school. You can touch and feel
your projects.
You aren't just getting this idea of a piece of paper and calling it a day. And that's where I think this is so cool for so many students that need to see it, that need to be involved, and maybe feel left out. This helps them.
Yeah, and something else I'm going to mention to your listeners. There is a bill that went into law that's supposed to go into effect in, I believe it's 2027. And basically in the state of Illinois, they're going to require every student in the state of Illinois to graduate from high school to take 2 years of foreign language. Now, the problem with that bill and that new law that's on the books is there's a few things. One, we don't have the foreign language teachers to accommodate every school. We don't have the funding. But most importantly, it is going to affect the amount of trades classes that can be taken by these kids.
That makes sense.
And we are working with Katie Stewart and Amy Eilick to amend that bill. We're not saying get rid of that requirement, but give kids an option. Let them choose between two years of career focused classes and 2 years of foreign language. Because for the students that are not going to go to college, they don't necessarily have to have that foreign language. So, we encourage people, reach out to your congressmen and your senators within the state and say, amend the foreign language law, foreign language bill for high schools. That's going to go into effect, because it's going to dramatically have an impact in not a good way in so many ways.
Well, and that's one that we haven't talked about really very often, that bill, and not one that's been covered too much. And it could just be because of the, way headlines read, or the way that, the bill reads. And it's good to know.
Exactly. Yeah. So the law, it was passed a year and a half ago or so. We're working to try to get an amendment done to that bill. So I will, after we get off the air, I'll send you the bill number you can share with your listeners online, so they can give that bill number to their congressmen and their senators and say, hey, we want to make sure that this gets amended so that we have the option between trades classes and foreign language.
Really good. And Shannon, thanks for sharing that with us. We'll link that. And, on top of that, is there anything else that you're seeing right now, or anything else that you guys are working at the national level?
At the national level, there's a ton they're working on with the new leadership in Washington, D.C. And it's a little bit quiet right now because it's coming to the end of summer. But there are many things like alternative housing options for people, coding and simplifying the process of regulatory issues. There's a lot that the National Association of Home Builders is working on currently. Locally, it's quiet. Everybody's on summer break, getting ready to gear up to go back for the fall session and the veto session that'll be coming up. But, we're always keeping things in the forefront of what's happening that we need to be aware of. Something else I'll make your listeners aware of, Granite City has recently rolled out an infill program. And some of my builders are working with the city of Granite City. And it's basically revitalizing areas where homes were torn down. And there are some great incentives and opportunities for consumers, especially first-time home buyers, where you don't have to pay taxes except on the value of the property before it was built on.
Wow.
So it's a savings of anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000, and that's for 10 years. So instead of paying, $2,300 to $3,500 in real estate taxes, they may only have a tax bill of $500 for the first 10 years they live in that brand new home. And because there's no land cost associated with these infill projects, you can get into a new home somewhere around $235,000 to $285,000.
Wow.
Instead of paying $350,000 to $400,000. So the city of Granite has the infill program. If anybody has interest in that, you can reach out to the city of Granite City, and they can give you more information about it. Belleville has an infill program. I'm in conversations with Alton right now. We've met twice, and they're looking at potentially bringing an infill program to the Alton area. So there is opportunities out there, and we are pushing hard to give options for those first-time home buyers and people that want to downsize, seniors that want to get out of their bigger home and get into a smaller home. That's starting to come back, where homes aren't going to be built as big as they were the last 10 years.
Well, and it's really good to note because, and especially too, when it pertains to specific communities, because I think a lot of areas are struggling with this is the housing inventory, that they have. And so to be able to utilize an infill program instead of maybe going to a Section 8 housing complex, which quite frankly, there's too many of in this area, it's good to have.
And these are owner occupied. They're not rentals. And that's what we're looking for in communities, is bringing back more owner occupied residents, not rentals. There'll always be a percentage of rentals, and they're not all bad.
Right.
But it brings value to all homeowners in a community when more homes are available. And Granite City has just gone through a huge cleanup of their downtown area. They've done so many streetscapes projects with grant money they've gotten in, and they're really trying to turn things around in Granite City, and there's some great options for people.
There really is. And Shannon, it goes back to another thing. It's investing in yourself. I mean, when you have your own home, it sets you up for life. It really does, if you take care of it the right way, of course. And
correct.
It's really good that there's programs like this. And the more we talk about them, I hope that more that the community officials and leaders take note that there are different options that provide that sense of home ownership and sense of loving where you live because it's your own property.
Correct. And that's what we need is people investing in their communities by investing in themselves. And
Right.
that's really what it is. So also one other thing, CJ, I know our time's running long here, but the Wish Home is under construction in Muscoda, Illinois. We broke ground about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Foundation has been poured. Flat work is being done, and it's getting ready for those walls to go up. And I got to do a shout out. It's in the Brickyards in Muscoda, Illinois. It is the general contractor for the home is HBD Homes. And then the builder working with HBD Homes is going to be the Hair Corporation. The unions have stepped up immensely to help us with this Wish Home project. IBEW, the electrical union, they're doing all the electrical work on the home. The plumbers union out of Belleville and HVAC are going to be doing the plumbing and HVAC on the house. And then the Mid-America Carpenters Union have one of their companies, the Hair Corporation, that is doing the carpenters part of the house. And we have so many people making donations to make this house happen. The goal is to have it built by the end of December and finished. Wow. And then the program will launch in January. And the St. Louis Cardinals have partnered with us on this project this year. So we're excited about it. And we're going to be selling raffle tickets for $100 again. We're going to have to sell 13,000 tickets to give that home away, but it's very doable. It's an $800,000 home. It's amazing.
Man, that sounds good. Now, what I think's really cool is last year, you know, you didn't hit the number, but you also, I mean, the lady that won, what a perfect story for that. And all the money that you raised for Make-A-Wish.
Yes. So the family that won the grand prize had a daughter with special needs. She was born that way. She's wheelchair bound. She's blind and deaf, has a trach, and her wheelchair had just started not working correctly about 3 weeks before the drawing. And her 16th birthday was a day or two before the drawing. We did the drawing and they won almost $70,000 in cash that they won. And the family couldn't have been more excited and thankful because they were able to then replace their daughter's wheelchair.
Just
because she spends her life in that. It's a very important tool for her. So it was amazing.
That's just incredible. And, you know, with you guys knowing about this ahead of time, why wouldn't you take a chance? Now, Shannon, before I let you go on today's topic, just real quick, if folks win, there's also a cash out option on this, correct?
Correct. If we reach the goal of the 13,000 tickets sold and you don't want the home, your name is drawn, you will receive $300,000 cash instead of the home.
I'll take
it. And tickets will be going on sale in November or December. We'll launch it a little early, and then the big launch will be in January. And there's going to be other prizes announced as we get closer.
I just want to know how they get this home done in 4 months. That's incredible.
The HBR members are amazing.
Shannon, it's always great talking to you. And really, when we get to discuss trade and really all the really important nuances of it and the future of it, it's really great. And always thank you for your time.
You're welcome, CJ. You have a great day, and I hope your listeners have a safe day out there.
You too. Stay cool out there for one more day.
Yes.
Bye-bye. See ya. 10:05. We'll take a quick break. More Daily Show on this Tuesday morning comes right around the corner, right around 10:10. We're going to be talking all things Nana's Cafe right after this. You stay there, and I'll be here on Roku and RiverBender.